That's the backbeat. It actually comes from Africa. And it's brought into America. So that's how this thing works. So we have to do that, and all even stuff's happening now. So that's how we make this work, by having that backbeat in everything we do. That's why it makes people want to clap and dance and feel the music what we do. So the next thing we had to do is we don't have the instruments that people think of playing dance music that's in a rock band or a jazz band. We just have these instruments. So we had to look at these and figure out a way to make them sound like the instruments you associate with playing rock and roll or bebop or jazz or all these styles. So the first thing you'll see is Mark's playing what he's called the cello, but he's really playing it more like a bass player. So it sounds more like a bass player. You really feel like it's called a walking bass, because you feel like you're walking around. The next thing we need to do is drums. So I have this very nice violin, right? And this really expensive piece of wood. It's called a bow, and it's got horsehair on it. And this is very expensive, very delicate equipment. But another way to look at this is just a box, and this is just a stick. So if I'm thinking like a drummer, what can I do with a box and a stick? Yeah, exactly. So Mads is going to show you a technique we call a bow slap. See what he's doing with his bow? He's just lightly tapping it, and it sounds like you're snapping your fingers. Now another thing you can do is called a chop, which is closer to the bridge. And we do a lot with that. You can add notes to it. And you got the drums, and you got the bass. Now we need the piano, because we need to have chords. So Jeremy is going to show you something we call comping, where we're just taking the key notes out of the music and making the sound of the chords that a guitar player or a piano player would play. And so now we're playing a blues, and we don't have to read music or anything. We can just jam, and we can trade these parts off, and it works really good. That's called a blues, and that's written by a saxophonist named Charlie Parker. Now the next thing we're going to do is talk about music that comes from the Caribbean area where we're right now, and so because that's a whole different way that you can play rhythm, and Mads is going to tell you a little bit about that.
Very good. And I noticed that you guys like to clap. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is clap a rhythm with me. And I'm going to first demonstrate it, and once you get it, just come along with me. Wait until you get it. Amazing. You have that. You guys. Okay, thank you. Well, you guys, it's not like you all have that in your blood here, right? What an easy rhythm for y'all. And I'm wondering, since we are in Miami, if anybody has a clue what that rhythm might be called by any chance? Anybody? Yes, we have the taker over there. Scratch your head? No, that's not correct. A Turner? Montana. Okay, yeah. Well, it is kind of related to that kind of a dance. I guess that's a dance, I think. But anyways, let me cut to the chase here. The rhythm is called clave. Clave. And clave, why do you all say that, by the way? Let's say clave. Yeah, so clave is actually just like the backbeat. It's a rhythm that came all the way from Africa, but a little bit unlike the backbeat in some ways. It kind of settled in the Caribbean areas, right on here, Cuba. When you listen to salsa music, Afro-Cuban music, you have the clave written all over it. If the clave isn't in that music, it sounds all wrong. So, and people like to dance to it. So, the thing about the clave is, I want to make the argument that the clave exists all over North American music as well as in Latin America and in Caribbean areas. Check out this little piece here. The thing about the clave is, that piece is called what, by the way? It's called The Entertainer by Scott Joplin, very American composer, ragtime composer. And why the melody says that in the right hand, the left hand of the piano says what the backbeat would do. Can I hear that? So that's why we love the claves, because we can combine it with the backbeat and make for a very compelling tune. So we're actually going to play a piece here. It's a jazz standard, but we have highly Latinified this piece. It's actually, very Afro-Cuban at this point. It's a piece called Green Dolphin Street. Listen out for that clave in this one.
so that we really love to play for you all. And of course, we've got a big concert tomorrow night at that new center that you just heard about. So it's at 8 o'clock. So now we're going to end. Somebody asked us about playing rock. Yeah, well, we're going to play a piece. We're going to play a piece by Bob Dylan. But yeah, but have you ever heard of a man named Jimi Hendrix? Well, he played the electric guitar, kind of like the way that we play the string instruments. He got this incredible sustain. He got this wonderful sustain on his guitar, and he has influenced every guitar player that's come after him. He played in the 60s, and even classical guitarists are influenced by Jimi Hendrix, which is really kind of amazing to me. So this is a piece called All Along the Watchtower.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Turtle Island. Yes, thank you, Whigham Elementary, for having us here. Again, Turtle Island will be performing tomorrow at your wonderful new Performing Arts Center. And so tell your parents to stop by the center or give us a call or go online to get your tickets. We also will see you next month at our free All Kids Included Festival. You'll be getting some information from Ms. Burdick.